nation under God for America.
Hi, I'm Wayne Hill.
I'm Greg Duerden. I'm running for governor of the state of Utah, and Wayne is the lieutenant governor candidate on the Independent American Party ticket. And we're on the ballot that you'll be getting this week in your mailboxes. Be sure to look for our name, Duerden and Hill, under the Utah governor category on the ballot.
Number 2, but we're soon to be number 1. And that will be the exciting part. Actually, Duerden's pretty hard to spell anyway, so you don't have to write it in. You just have to check the little mark there. And they did away with, thank goodness, to the Republican Party did one thing that I might approve of, and that's did away with the straight party ballot. So you don't have to, you have to go down and decide between you and God who's going to do the right vote.
For each race.
For each race.
So it's going to take a little more time.
Got to take a little more time. You're going to have to think this time instead of just checking that one box and voting straight party. That's a great accomplishment in here in Utah.
We got to thank Kurt Bramble for that.
No, we don't have to thank him. Okay, we'll thank him this time. But anyway, actually, we're just excited to be here. We've had some good response from the last video, and we've had some awesome things that the Independent American Party started out probably, at least we got our name 100 and something years ago, 170 something. But basically, we started out then, and we just put it together in
the last 28.
So we just
28 years ago.
We started it here. But we have some principles that are kind of missing, I think, in those other two grand old parties, and they're old.
They are old. They're clear
old.
Back to Jefferson.
Yeah, they're older than 170 years.
Yeah. But they don't have principles that they maintain.
No, they don't even have teachers that they maintain, let alone principles. So basically, that's where we are. We have the 15 principles that we do believe in. We do believe in the Constitution, and that's the whole thing that makes us so upset is that the Republicans and the Democrats, almost every governor, all 50 of them, put us in quarantine, put their states in quarantine before they even had a real death that they could count, even lie about corona.
And that's unconstitutional.
Very unconstitutional. It's a hoax, and we'll get into that a little bit too with Peggy Hall's statement and her little webpage where she's actually putting people and honoring what the Congress had passed.
Yes. And Peggy is a great patriot in California that's working to end the mask mandates and to get this craziness of the COVID emergency, which is, the emergency is the hoax, not the disease. The disease is real, but
a little bit real.
It's not as bad as they keep telling us. But there are a lot of things about this COVID response that are unconstitutional, immoral, and improper, where our 15 principles that are derived from a talk given by Ezra Taft Benson on the proper role of government. Those 15 principles you can find at our website at usiap.org or utahiap.com or on our website, which is gduerden.us. And all of those principles are on each one of those. You may have to do some searching to find it.
Now, we talked about last time about 94 million, though, was spent on.
97 million.
97 million was spent on just the corona lie and cheating or where. I don't know what they did with all that money, but I think one of our governors has a few places he could live. So whatever that means, but I'm just saying that he spent and was questioned by, I think, Huntsman in a debate what happened to the $100 million that they can't find. And so there's lots of that money going around that has been there. But the main thing we have to remember is that it's not that the coronavirus is not maybe a little bit real, but it's unconstitutional. And you have to realize that the Constitution doesn't allow for abortion. It doesn't allow for lies and cheating, and that's what's fun about the Constitution.
And we've covered that in the first two videos pretty good. But Wayne wanted to read a statement here. that kind of also gets into that.
Yeah, I think I spent a lot of time, on this, and my spell check and everything working fine. But actually, I want to just go over some of the things that we're different at, and a lot of things we're different.
We are.
We know the Constitution, we understand the Constitution, and Greg and I myself are governor candidates. We're on the ballot, so those people that are doing write-ins and stuff, and they're saying that we said this, we said that, it's a bunch of bull, because really we're for the teachers, we're for the homeschoolers, we're for the people that they're saying that we're not for, because we believe we can fund them without raising taxes.
Right.
And they all can get a benefit from it. That's what's exciting about the school teachers and all those. And so anyway, we've been on the ballot. We are on the ballot. Cox and Herbert have are, in just my opinion and your opinion too, you agreed with me one time.
I agree.
All the time. And, and then we said that you actually, COVID, Cox, and Herbert, we could probably put COVID in front of his name too, because he certainly okayed the thing. But basically, those two are as near as Communist Party members as I have ever seen in the state of Utah, in my opinion, and your opinion. So let's get that straight. By opposing the hoax and the communists breaking the office rules, that's where Herbert and Cox have gone astray. They haven't opposed it, and therefore it's a hoax that they've brought up. And they support the Democrats and Republicans leaderships, namely Cox and the Republican Peterson and Democrat Peterson, and they both remember that there's 75 state legislators. Most all of them are Republican, and they all have gone along with this hoax.
And the 29 state senators.
29 state senators are all involved. And the reading of the bills, they passed 500 bills, and that's 104 people. And I'll bet you, I won't bet a lot of money because they haven't given any money. But basically, they have 104 of them, and they just plain have not
Read
the 500 bills or 800 that they were presented with. In 6 weeks, you try and do that, and you see how many have actually done that. Also remember that plus the constant attacks on manipulating the numbers. So it isn't just that they have lied, in my opinion, about the numbers of people who died about corona, but they manipulated those numbers so that they just say them in a way, and they get the news media. Can you believe that the manipulated news media is actually...
The lapdog media? No.
Yeah.
They're no longer watchdogs of government.
They just tell
They're
us
lapdogs.
whatever they regurgitate, whatever they can hear from the up above guys. Now, the news channels and all that is embellishing the daily new causes. You get pandemic, 200 in the hospital, 200, what did I say just a minute ago? 290, 88 or something. They're in the hospital. Big flippin' deal. Let's get somebody in there with their relatives, maybe, to see if that's an actual thing that they're actually doing.
Well, they're trying to promote a state of fear.
Absolutely. They're doing a dang good job of it.
Unfortunately.
So anyway, we've got a bunch of lies that are going on. Do you realize that Ron Paul said that the first month and a half that they had almost 1.5 billion times that they said corona or COVID or something? That's a lot of times. You can't watch any news without having at least 10 or 20 representatives.
You can't talk about sports. You can't talk about schools.
Oh, you can talk about them, but they can't play because they got corona. And that's what they say. Anyhow, it's pretty ridiculous. Anyhow, let's not reward Herbert and Cox with another 4 years.
Please.
Please, honestly. Let's save them, save the thing. And we are the only real constitutional candidates on the ballot. We actually stand for something. And the hoax, and we're going to bring that out more and more as we get more information about it, but the hoax means that people can go to jail for denying that.
Well, and for breaking their oath of office, Herbert and Cox. You broke your oath of office. You should be ineligible to hold office for henceforth and forever.
Probably the 104 state representatives have too.
Oh, gee. That's
Yeah.
a horrible thing.
That's 100%. Did they stop
No.
COVID Cox and Herbert? No, they didn't stop that. They just flat out said, okay, whatever you want. But I think some of them are wondering now if they should do that. But anyhow, that's where we talk about actually there's 300 or 30 million jobs lost just the first month or two.
Nationwide, yeah.
Nationwide. And that's not a good thing. So the small businesses ought not to vote for Cox at all, or Peterson, because they're both the same party, in my opinion.
Well, they're both promoting the same agenda.
Same agenda. And so that's what we say. You need to do, they call the word pandemic, they use all kinds of words on it. And then if you want liberty and capitalism, which I've heard that capitalists are going to be lined up against the wall and shot, but that's okay. If you're a Christian or
We'll shoot back.
We'll shoot back. We'll get the lead out, I promise. So anyway, that's where we have basically the Independent American Party is the only one on the board for you guys. If you believe in integrity, freedom, capitalism, and doing what the Lord wants.
And another thing we're in favor of is public education. Now, both of us are in favor of parent choice for schools.
Amen.
We like homeschoolers. We like public schools. We like private schools. We like charter schools. But the state constitution says that the public school system in the state of Utah will be a free education, non-secular education. And so what we're doing constitutionally is we want to raise the bar on education. We want to pay K through 12 public education teachers the national median salary, which will start out at $59,000. Right now, it's about $20,000 less than that. And we want to make that the bar for teachers. Right now, we're losing half of our teachers in the first 4 years.
Wonder where all the money that Cox and those guys over the years of Herbert has promised those teachers, where did it go?
It's gone into the education funding line item.
Oh.
In 1996, they combined public education and higher education. And colleges, the state college system in the state of Utah has been building buildings, has been doing things, and that's where the money's going, is to higher ed, not to public ed. We are still 51st in the nation, 51st out of 50 states. That's pretty low, folks. 51st in the nation for funding of public education per student. We need to better that. And we're going to do that. We're going to raise teachers' salaries. We're going to raise the funding without raising any taxes. There are a lot of things that can be done. One of the other things we want to do is the state constitution doesn't mention charter schools because it's a more recent addition. We want to do away with the state charter school superintendent. His job is extra constitutional. And the state charter school board, we want to envelop with the state board of education. That's mentioned in the state constitution. There is no state charter school board mentioned in the state constitution. So we add those members to the state school board, and all of a sudden it becomes constitutional. Funny thing about that.
Awesome.
Another thing we want to try to do, and this will take cooperation from the legislature, is we want to make teachers exempt from state income tax in their teaching salary. Because where does that money come from? Our property taxes. Can you tax a tax? You're not supposed to.
You can call taxi
Yeah.
and see if you can.
But our state tax commission says, oh, well, that's okay. It's not a tax anymore when you give it to the teachers. I'm sorry, it's still a tax. And we want to make them exempt from taxes in their teaching salary.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things we neglect here is that the Republicans and Democrats own all 50 states. And when they started this thing about Corona and stuff. They did it united. I mean, 48 of them came out with this mandate and this phony hoax.
Where did the mandate come from? Who was the first country to shut everything down? Chinese communists. Yeah. That's the plan we're following. Hey, folks, we're Americans.
Exactly.
We don't have to follow the communist plan. We could come up with a better plan, and we have.
But it cost 30 million or more. I've heard a lot more than that. 30 million jobs, but not one government job did it cost. Can you believe that?
It's not about your health.
It's not about your health. It's about ripping the poor person off. Putting them in a quarantine is the worst thing you can do to your body, is wear a mask.
And controlling the people.
Yeah, that's all it's about. The Constitution doesn't allow these things, doesn't allow to murder anybody, doesn't allow you to do all kinds of good things that people are doing because under some other name, like Republican or Democrat or Socialist or whatever. We believe the Constitution was meant for all of us. And well, let's get out, get these small businesses. Yeah, let's wake up, guys. You're not getting any help from them. You've had to lay off employees big time if you survived at all. And the government hadn't laid off one employee. Wow, that's a good job to have, isn't it?
We're suggesting that small businesses take their first 2 quarters profit and loss statements, send it to your state legislator as a claim, because the Fifth Amendment, the last part of the Fifth Amendment says government cannot take private property, like businesses and your livelihood, without due process, and there was not any due process, or just compensation. To get that just compensation, you need to lay a claim on the government. Give them your 2 quarters of profit and loss statements and say, this is my claim. You make it right. And that's what we're proposing. That's what we're suggesting. That's what we're endorsing.
Yeah, and don't forget to add your name to one of these lawsuits that's against Herbert and Cox and these other fellows and women that are actually perpetuating the hoax. And go to Peggy Hall,
healthyamerican.org,
and let's go, just read that, watch it, it's awesome. She's taking action, folks. That's something we all need to do instead of sit there and die willingly.
And there's a group called We the Parents that are raising money. They've actually filed a lawsuit against Herbert and Cox, and go to them and donate for their lawsuit. And they're trying to shut down this emergency as well. But we promise, our very first day in office, we will end this emergency. We will end the mandate for masks. We will end this hoax. I'm Greg Duerden. I'm running for governor.
I'm Wayne Hill. I'm running for lieutenant governor. And with us, you get the truth. And you get an independent way of doing it, not 200 years of corruption. That's what I look at.
That's pretty close.
And that's my opinion again. I'm
that's
not
pretty
trying
close.
to say that the Lord told me to say that. I'm just saying that that's the way I see it.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. And we're going to play a little music here from
Nathan Osmond.
Nathan Osmond. He's awesome. And he's written a Constitution song that he's letting us use, and we appreciate that.
It's called For America. Check it out.
It's awesome.
For one nation under God.